After the epic Rings of Power season finale, our opinion about the show has completely changed. Up until then, we felt that the show didn't really live up to the standards of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, neither in depth of character development, nor in storytelling, nor in its overall looks. But the last 3 episodes were surprising in so many ways we would have never seen coming. This video is all about why exactly that is. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Thanks for tuning in. We start with episode 6, where the humans have decided to leave the fortified castle and hide from the orcs in some exposed wooden shacks on an open plain.
Not a great plan.
We see very clearly how everyone is being slaughtered, really brutally. We get to see some really sublime scenes where Arondir's face gets splattered with blood from the orc's stabbed eye while fighting the same orc. That was the part where my girlfriend, who loved the Lord of the Rings movies, got up and left. She said something like the show has nothing to do with the original movies. She called it disgusting. She said that the original films were far more elegant and said something about such unnecessarily violent scenes being interwoven just to shock viewers. But I think there's absolutely nothing right about this, and she's just a little sensitive. During the same battle, Bronwyn was also hit by an orc arrow, but that wasn't really a problem. It was simply enough to pull the arrow out, burn out the entry and exit wounds, and apply some elven ointment on it. What the arrow did to the tissue on its way through the entire chest was fortunately not that important because, wow! Bronwyn is up on her feet and healthy again in the next scene. By the way, what I also liked about the episode was the very moving love story between Arondir and Bronwyn. The acting of the two was really exceptional and so energetic that you really got the feeling that they put their hearts and souls into it. And the Southerners are saved, by Galadriel and a whole bunch of Númenóreans. You can't help but ask yourself, how the hell could all those people got on those 3 ships? It's just fascinating. But fortunately, they are there and everything seems to be fine again. The ultra-villain Adar is captured, one of the few who survive. Adar is defeated and defenseless, and we get to know his story, and kinda can't help but sympathize with him. Meanwhile, Galadriel, the wise and experienced leader, threatens him and the other captives with torture, which might be a war crime, or am I wrong? But maybe in other circumstances. Not with Galadriel, because Galadriel is good. She also swears to Adar to exterminate every single orc in the world. Doesn't that sound a little like racism? Especially as those threatened by Galadriel are her captives. If Galadriel were the prisoner and threatened by her captors, it would be completely different. But in such position of power, the threat of annihilation against weak, outnumbered opponents could be taken as pretty harsh, or not. But no, that was stupid of me. The showrunners wouldn't make such mistakes.
There's a lot of conversations about female characters, characters of color. There's a big conversation happening.
Of course, they are fully aware that there can be racism in all different groups of people and not only in one specific direction. The fact that Galadriel is about to slaughter Adar, even though he's bound and defenseless, also only happens to bring out her youthful spontaneity a bit. Oh, and the finale of the episode is epic. It's about the shaft of the sword that Arondir thought he had in his possession. But neither Arondir nor Galadriel seem to have ever checked to see if the thing that was taken from Adar is really the sword shaft. Well, it isn't. It's an axe. Oh my god, what a surprise. Things like that happen.
Oh my god, Galadriel! Yeah,
the sword shaft is in the possession of Sauron's servant, and he puts it in the stone and the Southlands are flooded, and because all the water the volcano erupts and the Southlands become Mordor. Continuing with episode 7, we see what happens immediately after the volcano erupted. We see what happens to Isildur. Oh my god, he dies? No, how can that be? But wait, isn't Isildur supposed to play a very central role in the Ring Wars again soon, and could this whole Isildur death story just be a cheap way to surprise the few viewers who haven't seen the original films? But no, the showrunners know what they are doing. This becomes even more obvious when, after Isildur's apparent death, there is a hard cut and we go straight to the most exciting storyline in the whole show. The Harfoots and the Stranger. I still have no idea at that point that it could be Gandalf. It could also be Sauron, right? The show is just so cleverly written. Especially because the stranger then does that thing to the tree, but almost kills a little girl in the process. Why? Because we as the audience are once again very cleverly misled. Because the stranger only unintentionally causes the accident, but he's not bad at all really. In case we didn't know that, we get to see the blooming flower again. Also, one gets the feeling that the show knows exactly how to use Eminem and his companions. There's so much suspense as they burn down all the Harefoot wagons within 1 second. And then there's another hard cut back to the Númenor camp during the next day, and we have no idea why the servants burned anything, who they are and what they want. But that's not important anyway, because the showrunners know what they're doing. Could it maybe be because there's another big oh my god moment at the beginning of episode 8, where it all unravels? Did you find the story as exciting as I did? Please comment down below with your thoughts on this. Meanwhile, after a single battle, the Númenóreans decide to leave Middle-earth and sail back home. Could they have sent just one ship, for example, with a couple of messengers to call for reinforcements? This would have allowed the rest of the Númenórean army to counterattack and smash the orcs' new formation while the enemy was still weak. Yes, that would have been an option, but the showrunners know what they are doing and the Númenóreans are going, leaving Middle-earth to its fate for the time being.
Not a great plan.
In the makeshift Númenórean camp, Theo thinks his mother is dead. Haha, as if Bronwyn would have died. Oh, and Halbrand was so badly wounded in the fight that he's in pretty bad shape. Fortunately, we've all been able to get to know the character really well and empathize with him so well that we are all really shocked and fear for his life.
Are you sure about that?
But then luckily Galadriel says he needs elven medicine, and Halbrand says okay, gets up from his bed and rides with Galadriel for several days at a time, despite festering wounds. And I always thought that blood poisoning and death could happen very soon at some point, but that was stupid of me. We are in a story and it's perfectly okay if the world in the story is set up completely randomly, changing all the time when the screenwriters need it, instead of following any rules or anything like that, as if any good stories would follow rules. And then there is that terrific final episode. The stranger is Sauron? No, really? Oh my god. And I really thought it was Halbrand. How clever it's all done. But stop, sorry. About half an hour later we learn that it's not the stranger, and Eminem and his companions are only in the show to 1. Mislead the viewers in such a cunning way for half an hour in the final episode, because this is absolutely necessary. 2. To show the viewers that the servants are a bit stupid for simply mistaking the supreme ruler Sauron for a random guy from the streets. What? But hey, there is nothing like good storytelling. The Harefoots are saved, only one isn't, to whom no one really built a great bond up until now because his character was never really described in any prior episode, but whatever. He's dying, I'm sad. Meanwhile, we are back in Eregion, where Halbrand is quite exhausted after the 6 days ride with his festering wounds, but he still can walk, so it's all good. 2 minutes later, after being healed, he walks around again and suggests forging the Rings of Power. Celebrimbor, thousands of years old, wise and intelligent, supports Halbrand like an overzealous boy. Only Galadriel, the strong, wise Galadriel, is slowly realizing that she has been foolish in bringing Halbrand here. She is also the one who finally identifies Halbrand as Sauron, the real Sauron. Sauron immediately asks for Galadriel's hand, but Galadriel resists the temptation. They have a row, screaming at each other like an old married couple. Galadriel faints, and when she wakes up again, Sauron is gone. What is Galadriel doing? Sending an entire army after him? No. She does nothing. But, one might ask, is she covering up her stupidity? But no. When Elrond asks her directly, she explains it with these words: trust me. Galadriel is very wise and we've built trust in her and her always good decisions throughout the show, so it will be fine. Galadriel and the showrunners know what they are doing.
Oh my god, Galadriel! Yeah,
and then the Rings of Power are forged that don't look anything like they're out of a gumball machine, and then the first season is over. It was just an extraordinary finale. Oscars could be won. Not only for the best, most thoughtful screenplay, but also for the best acting. Nobody seems blank and one-dimensional, or bored, or just like they have no idea what they're doing. Previous Tolkien stories in books and scripts and films have all been fully honored, and we get a real Lord of the Rings story without any hidden agenda or political messages at the expense of sacrificing a good story. The show was a fireworks of intelligence and love for the source material, and I can't wait for the next season. If you enjoyed this not completely unironic video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.